This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland.
The 40 foot is special because of the depth of the water.
I love the 40 foot regular swimmer here.
The 40 foot has a draw and a pull.
It's the most extraordinary amenity. I mean, it's deep water swimming, and it's particularly exhilarating when it's full tide.
It's probably the favourite place that I have.
Getting into that cold water, it's just really exhilarating. It starts all the engines in the body.
When you come out, you do have enjoy it and you feel well.
It just makes you alive. Yeah, it really brings you alive.
It makes me feel great in the morning.
It's great for the mind as well as the body, actually.
It gives you a lovely little tingle, kind of like something else we all know, but different.
Having swum in the cold sea in the month of February, you get out of it and you feel like $1 million.
And you come out of that water, particularly in the winter time, you're like a 2-year-old. Hangover's gone. You have a hangover.
The Lord is looking down on the 40 foot.
I'm Paul Wright and welcome to the 5th programme of the 40 foot Where the Seabathers Go. The series which investigates the rich social and historical lore surrounding the celebrated 40 foot bathing place situated in South County Dublin. Now, last winter just gone by, I decided to hit the 40 foot and ask a few people there what they most loved about the place.
The colder it gets, the better crack it is, the bigger buzz you get from it. I mean, if you come down in April, it's funny, if you come down in April, there'll be a gaggle of women here. There'll be about 18 women. They'll get in, they'll paddle out, they'll have a chat, they'll be 50 yards out having a waffle, and then they'll come back in. So the hardest core 40 foot swimmers are the women, the middle-aged women.
It's just a lovely feeling. It wakes you up, and no matter what your evening was like, it clears your head for the day. And I think honestly there's a health benefit because I haven't had a cold. I don't remember the last time I had a cold.
And I do it. Last couple of years I've done it all year round. But yeah, I suppose like most of the people here be doing it most of our lives. This is my retirement plan. I'm 29 now and I'm 69 years old. I'll be sitting right here with my big flask of tea.
I suppose from dawn to dusk you have people swimming here. I've never in my life been down so early that haven't been wet footprints there before me. So even in the dark this time of the year, people come down for a swim.
On the ocean blue and the tidal swell, each special day is cast forever in remembrance, where magic memories last. The 40 foot is a place of charm when the tide is still and high. May we linger here and swim a while as the lovely seagulls fly. Come all you bold land lovers and listen to my song. It's only 13 verses, so it won't detain you long. It's all about the 40 foot, a bathing spot sublime, where many a brave sea bather likes to pass the time.
And I think it's safe to say that the Martello Tower at Sandy Cove, which overlooks the 40 foot, is perhaps the most famous of all such towers in the world, because of the brief residence there of James Joyce. James Joyce was invited to stay at the tower by his friend Oliver St John Gogarty, who lived at the tower and who loved to swim in the 40 foot. Today the tower and also the neighbouring 40 foot are meccas for all types of Joyce fans and enthusiasts. Now, last Bloomsday, June 16th, just gone by, I decided to meet up with some of these Joyce fans and enthusiasts as they visited the 40 foot in homage to their beloved Joyce.
My name is Michael Mendelson.
Now, Michael, where are you from?
I'm originally from St. Louis, but I've lived in Boston now for 35 years.
Now, Michael, you were telling me that you were after coming to Ireland just in the last 24 hours. For what reason?
Because I love James Joyce and have for years, and today is Bloomsday.
June the 16th. Now, what is the significance of Bloomsday in Joycean lore and in world literature heritage?
The book is set in a 24-hour period on June 16th, 1904, which was the day Joyce met the love of his life, Nora Barnacle.
And Michael, for yourself, I mean, we're down here in the 40 Foot. What's the significance of the actual 40 Foot in the famous book Ulysses?
Well, the book Ulysses begins right here at Martello Tower, which every fan of Joyce makes a pilgrimage to at some point. And in that first chapter, Buck Mulligan, his protege, his fetus Achates, as he's called, swims right here, though Stephen Daedalus avoids the water.
Joyce immortalized the place, in Ulysses it flows. When Mulligan plunges not green sea with scrotum tightening woe.
Believe it or not, the 40 Foot plays a central role in the beginning of Ulysses, when Stephen Daedalus and Buck Mulligan, otherwise known as Joyce and Gogarty, visit the 40 Foot for a plunge. While Mulligan rushes into the water, Daedalus gazes out to the sea and sees what he thinks is a seal. As Joyce writes in Ulysses, a voice sweet-toned and sustained called to him from the sea. Turning the curve, he waved his hand. It called again. A sleek brown head, a seal, far out in the water, round usurper. However, it's worth pointing out that many Joyce scholars believe Joyce mistaked the flicked down hair on Buck Mulligan's head for a seal, since the great writer's eyesight was chronic.
And about that incident, Robert Nicholson of the Joyce Tower Museum in Sandycove shares his views.
Buck Mulligan was the man who went in. He's the one who's based on Oliver St. John Gogarty, who in fact was the man who paid rent on the tower and loved the 40 Foot and spent ages swimming out there.
And how long did Joyce himself, James Joyce, spend in the actual tower itself? And what happened here during his time here, his epic time here?
Joyce was only here for 6 days. He was invited by Gogarty as a guest, and he really wasn't very welcome by the time he turned up. And the longer he stayed here, the less welcome he got. And finally, on the 6th night of Joyce's stay, Gogarty found an excuse to start firing a gun over Joyce's head. And I think Joyce got the message at this point and left.
The Martello Tower at Sandycove Point is perhaps the most famous of all such towers in the world, because of the brief residence there of James Joyce. Joyce was invited to stay at the tower by his friend Oliver St. John Gogarty. He arrived on the 9th of September 1904. 7 days later, he moved out, after another visitor, Samuel Chevenix's trench, in the middle of a bad dream about a leopard, reached for his gun, fired a few shots, and promptly went back to sleep. Gogarty, it is said, grabbed the gun and fired further shots over Joyce's head. A shaken Joyce moved out the next day. His time in the tower, however, was not forgotten, and it became the setting for the opening of Ulysses.
One of the morning rituals of many Bloomsday enthusiasts is to follow in the footsteps of Joyce's legendary literary character Buck Mulligan, by taking a plunge at the 40 Foot in what Joyce called the snot-green, scrotum-tightening Irish Sea. Joyce enthusiast Michael Mendelsohn.
There are Joyce fans and locals from the area sitting alongside one another, toweling off or preparing to jump in. And up to our right is the beautiful Martello Tower, where Joyce fans and scholars are paying homage to the great man, where people are dressed in wonderful clothes, imitating Molly Bloom, the heroine, or Bloom's wife, and Stephen Daedalus and Bloom himself, and where Irish actors are reading and sharing stories with all of us who've come from so many different places for our beloved Ulysses.
And another of the people down at the 40 Foot plunging into the sea as part of that day's Bloomsday shenanigans was a brave English woman called Anne. Believe it or not, she was dressed in what looked to all intents and purposes like a period piece Edwardian female bathing costume. Here's Anne to divulge how she made her costume.
A pair of pennies pyjamas that cost about €1.50 that I made into this Edwardian bathing suit. In actual fact, for part of the movement against Save Our Seafront and to get the baths restored in Dunleary, but I now bring them out every year on Bloomsday for my annual swim.
That's brilliant, fantastic.
Living the part.
Living the part, and your history on your doorstep, quite in living person, great. You know, I wish my history in school was so exciting. And just Anne, for yourself, what do you love most about today, like June the 16th? You know, the Bloomsday, the significance of it for yourself, and especially down here in the 40 Foot and right next door to Santa Claus.
What I love about it, being English, as you can tell from my accent, and
we won't hold that against you.
Coming from a race of rather straight-laced, poker-faced people, what I really love is all the people around Sandy Cove and Glastool who actually make an effort to dress up and just have a really fun time all day, and the shopkeepers make an effort and they make a wonderful atmosphere for everybody around here on this one day, and so many people participate and so many people just have a nice time.
That's brilliant. So it's a good fun-filled, festive occasion.
It is. And people not really caring, like I've just walked down the street in this really ridiculous outfit, and people just love you for doing that, and that's what's really nice about it.
And continuing with our investigation into the social and historical lore surrounding the 40 Foot down the ages. Believe it or not, there are many other famous people apart from James Joyce connected with the famous bathing place. For example, Brendan Behan was a regular in his day, 40 Foot folklorist Frank Mullen.
I'm aware that, and I remember vividly Brendan Behan swimming down here on a regular basis during his many periods of sobriety.
You would have actually witnessed Brendan Behan yourself swimming in the 40 Foot.
I actually knew Brendan Behan through his father.
Wow.
Yeah, Stephen, who worked for the Board of Works, and I met Stephen before I met Brendan. And then, having met him on a couple of occasions, I met him down here just by chance one day, and both of them were swimming. Well, at least Brendan was. I can't remember whether Stephen was after getting out of the water or not. It's a long number of years ago. But yet there were regular swimmers here, and they were great characters. There were interesting stories about the place too. I know for a positive fact from reference to books that Piggott, who gave evidence against Parnell.
This would have been the infamous Richard Piggott now.
That's right, the infamous Richard Piggott. He lived locally, and he actually received the bribe for committing the perjury here in the 40 Foot, and that's documented. I think Leonard referred to it in one of his books, but certainly it could be traced where it originated from.
So if ever you visit the 40 Foot at some future juncture, then remember that within its precincts the infamous Richard Piggott received the bribe for the fake letters he fabricated in the 1880s to try destroy Ireland's great nationalist leader Charles Stuart Parnell. The 40 Foot has also played host to Irish Taoiseach, ministers, bishops, rugby teams, as well as the odd pop star such as Robbie Williams. 40 Foot volunteer Tommy Ryan.
Robbie Williams, he was down here one day.
Robbie Williams, my God.
The fun thing, he came in here one day with, his bodyguards there, and he had a big cap on him, and I didn't know who he was. And we were sitting at the wall there, and when he going out, one dad said, "Good luck on you. If you're over here in the RDS doing a show," and one of the dads said, "Good luck, Robbie, on your performance tonight." So anyway, he said, "That's Robbie Williams." So he went up to them, actually, and it was my grandchild's she's a fan of his. And I said to Robbie, said, would you mind signing an autograph, on this, for this thing? So I got a bit of paper in hand, and he said, what's the name? And I said, Gemma. He said, but Gemma loved Robbie Williams, And another day, up in the thing up there, Gloria Hunterford lives up there in the flat up there, and she was with Cliff Richards there for her any time he comes over. And he appeared down here one morning, Cliff, and he was standing up at the railings up there. And we stand there, we start singing, we're all going on a summer holiday. And he came, and they came and started chatting, he walked in and settled around it.
And veering away from talk of pop stars, one well-known Irish personality to use the 40-foot on a regular basis over the last few decades is former TV presenter Liam O'Murricu.
I'm Liam O'Murricu, and I did television programmes for 100 years inside Northea. I did Sean some Rich and Rare Land, I did all those series.
Now, Liam, you're a regular down here in the 40-foot yourself.
For 50 years. 60 years I'm coming here to the 40-foot. And by Jesus, I never got tired of it. Now, I'm no longer a winter man. I can't take the cold now. But I'll certainly be here for the summers from here till I'm dead in 100 years' time.
And Liam, what's the magic of this place? Because you're getting people from all backgrounds.
The company. They're very great. They're great friends around here. Great for chats and talking. Great companionship. And that's what's lovely about it. And of course the water is very nice, very refreshing. When you hit the bloody thing, you come alive suddenly, and you're suddenly away like shot.
And as Liam O'Murricu just mentioned, it's the company, or Colluder in the Gaelic, as well as the refreshing sea waters which most attract people to the 40-foot. While the 40-foot has witnessed its fair share of famous and infamous personalities down the ages, nevertheless the backbone of the place is the common man and woman who willingly make a subscription or donation at the entrance for the place's upkeep, has their dip and is then on their way. 40-footer John Noonan.
This is a fascinating place, the 40-foot. It's unique in Ireland, I think, because of all the different nationalities that come down here and different professions. In fact, I came down here once, and the only reason when I retired from the sea at 61, I said, who goes down to the 40-foot? And a man said to me, everybody. He said, from High Court judges to criminals. And they all look the same naked. So I said, that's my place, that's where I'm going. So
very egalitarian approach.
So I found that I like this. I never wanted to join anything. I had an uncle who was in the First World War, and his advice to me was never join anything, even my hands in prayer. But I did join the 40-foot, and I have a little woolen cap that says it on the front.
I'm just looking at this cap here now. It's beautiful, John. Very artistic.
I'm not afraid of being a member of this wonderful society and it's a wonderful shower of people down here because, they tell you and they talk from the heart. There's nothing concealed here. It's a beautiful place for humanity to meet and talk, men and women.
I just love coming down and meeting the same people. Everybody looks out for one another. If there's a bad sea, they'll tell you. If the steps are slippy, they'll tell you. So everybody looks after one another. And hail, rain or snow, we're down here.
I think we're kind of united in our insanity because it's a completely potty thing to do to jump into the sea in November. And we'll all be here on Christmas morning and New Year's morning and, and in between some of us too. But it's fantastic and there is a great community. All ages, all backgrounds, everything. I think, as Anne said earlier, when you're changing into your underwear side by side with somebody else, having been in the Arctic, you become very friendly.
And it's because of these strong friendships built up between regular 40-foot bathers down through time that over the last number of years an ecumenical service has been held each December in the 40-foot in order to remember those many sea bathers who've come and gone through the place. Recently I attended one such service.
Help of the helpless, oh, abide with
Well, my name is Maurice Byrne, fairly regular swimmer down here at the 40 foot for the last 25-30 years. And today is one day every year, coming up to Christmas, we have a yearly anniversary of commemorating all our dead members, you know. So we'll have a group here, maybe of 100, 150 people, all down here. And we have 3 different representatives coming from 3 different churches, so all the denominations. There's Catholic, Protestant, and I think last year there was a rabbi, but I haven't seen if there's one here yet. But that's usually the brief, and it'll be a mixture of prayer, song, readings, and then we go through, various people are invited to say prayers for members, ex-members they remember. So the service will last something in the region of a half an hour, and after that we'll all depart again.
Sunshine, Lord, abide with me.
We've all walks of life here. You get anything, any brief or any type of job or background you care to mention. You'll get somebody who's an expert in that field. And indeed, it's a great university of life down here. You can find out anything about anything. And you'll always have somebody who'll know something, you have some problem or technical or social or whatever, financial. There'll be somebody here to give you some expert advice. Free, gratis, and for nothing.
Abide with me. Lord God, we thank you for this brilliant day. It's just a prayer for all of us gathered here today to celebrate the memory of all our loved ones. Lord, hear our prayer. For our dead colleagues, I invite you, if you wish, to call out the names of colleagues from here, especially people who have died during the last year, but whenever.
Peter Foley,
Dr. Fleetwood,
David Noble,
Dave Noble, Michael Condon, Frank Power,
Eugene Harrington,
Paddy Fox, Skippy,
Jerry Corcoran, going back,
Michael Condon, Leslie Hanna,
Dr. Fleetwood, Bill Fitzpatrick.
and our fair city, what's her name?
John O'Hara.
Lord, give them eternal rest. And for all those who we, family members, and all those we may have forgotten to pray for today, Lord, hear us. I think we'll sing now, what would be the best, Be Not Afraid or My Bonnie?
My Bonnie.
All right, we'll try and sing My Bonnie.
Oh, not the other one.
This now is not the way you'd sing it in Eagle House. We try and incorporate a little bit of reverence and faith. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me.
My name is Gary Dowd, and I'm the Church of Ireland Rector of St Paul's in Glenageary. I actually grew up beside the sea, and having served for 15 years in Carlow, it's great to be back beside the sea again. I'm not a swimmer myself, I have to say. I often pass by here early in the morning. I'm freezing walking along, and then I watch these people swimming in here. But that obviously it's a great way of bringing people together. There's a great community spirit here. I suppose I have to be when you do that sort of thing every day, all year round. And I have to admire them, and it's a great pleasure to be here on an occasion like this when they remember their friends with whom they enjoyed so much time here. And it's important to do that and to renew old friendships for those that are still here.
Bring back my Bonnie to me, to me.
And another of the co-celebrants at that day's ecumenical service in the 40 foot was Father Jim Tormey, who is himself an inveterate 40 footer.
For me, it's something that I drifted into, if you'll excuse the pun. But I think that it's many people in the world just love the sea. Many Dublin people and people who come from other countries, they just love to come down here because of the sea and the rocks, not just the swimming. It has something that lasts as things change all over the place. The 40 foot doesn't seem to change much. Bring
back, oh bring back, oh bring back my Bonnie to me.
And to discover more about the 40-foot bathing place in South County Dublin's beautiful Sandy Cove, including how the famous Christmas Day swim at the 40-foot first came about, then make sure to catch our next number 6 programme in this 6-part 40-foot series. This programme was made with the support of the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland. Songs by Cliff Wedgbury.
On the ocean blue and the tidal swell, each special day is cast forever in remembrance, where magic memories last. The 40-foot is a place of charm when the tide is still and high. May we linger here and swim a while as the lovely seagulls fly. Come all you bold land lovers and listen to my song. It's only 13 verses, so it won't detain you long. It's all about the 40-foot, a bathing spot sublime, where many a brave sea bather likes to pass the time. I hereby sing of the 40-foot, a bathing spot renowned, situate in Sandy Cove, just south of Dublin town. If you descend her rocky steps alongside Dublin Bay, it's swimmers galore you'll find there every hour of each fine day. In bathing togs all sizes and many colours too, if it's thrills and spills you're after, this is the place for you, where people from all walks of life assemble, I declare, to swim the chilly Irish Sea while others stand and stare. Swimming in the icy brine each waking winter hour, those 40-footers love their time in the cold sea's awesome power. In every sort of nasty clime, hail, wind or snow, you'll catch those tough and hardy types braving the depths below.